Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and I am joined today by someone who does some cool stuff on the internet that you might be interested in if you don't already know what he's doing. This is Miles Vining. You do work for TFB, and you do work for the Silah Report, right?
Yes, correct.
You're doing like crazy stuff in war zones, and it's pretty cool. Tell me what you're doing.
So, first of all, Ian, thank you so much for this opportunity to come on your channel.
My pleasure.
I've been watching your channel much longer than I've known you, and I will continue to watch it in the future. Outstanding. So anyways, Silah Report. If you've gone on our website, you know, we've been in places. Well, first of all, I founded Silah Report. I co-founded it with the current editor of the firearm blog, Hiracha. And I don't want to make this all about me. I want to say we a lot here because it really has been a team and a group effort.
Okay.
And the point of Silah Report was that after a little bit, I've always, been writing, been interested in historic small arms and contemporary stuff. But at the same time, I was studying posture and I was studying the affairs of Afghanistan and Iran at Indiana University. And I noticed there's this huge divide in that you had a lot of gun guys who they could tell the guns from the Middle East, North Africa, Central Asia. They could tell what the guns were going on, but they couldn't understand some of the markings or the language or a lot of the more minute nuanced stuff. And then on the flip side, I was dealing with professors, students, academics, researchers, people who understood, the religious aspects, the idiosyncrasies of politics. They understood all this 100%, but they had no idea about the guns.
Okay.
And they would see, and I give this example all the time, like you'd see, some of these people say, oh, this is like some insurgent or this guy or whatever in Iraq or Afghanistan. Oh, what does he have in his hand? Oh, he just has an AK. And I'd be looking at that, of course, and say, no, he doesn't just have an AK. He actually has an AMD 65. And wow, look at that, the stock's broken off and everything. So I noticed there's this big divide between them. And when I really started getting into it and really digging deep into a lot of this stuff, I found out that there's some amazing stories mixed in between.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, I know. And essentially, by looking at the small arms in a technical way with having the added input of understanding the areas that you're in, working with indigenous peoples, working with the indigenous language, working with people from those regions and combining it together, you'd have this amazing story. And you'd see this thing like, okay, how did this Mauser C96 end up in Yemen? And it's like, what? Well, if you go back in time and you actually look at some of the alliances and some of the issues 100 years ago, it actually made perfect sense for a C96 to be in Yemen. And I think one of the cooler things is we found, the Sudanese AR-10.
Yeah.
Which I think only about 2,000 or 2,500 were made in the 1950s.
Yes, something right in there.
Around that. But we found
Calling me when I don't have a chance to go actually check the number.
But we found one of those, in Yemen and used by a Houthi fighter. And that was just one of the coolest things in the world because you could actually see it and say, wow, how did that get here? Well, it got there because Sam Cummings from InterArms sold it to Sudan in the 1950s, and then it got traded around and ended up there. So that's really that's some of the summary, some of the skinny of what we do.
Okay, so that's what you do. What do people see? Like, if I go to the website, what's there? What am I?
So you're gonna see stuff that you'll see some of it elsewhere. You'll see some of these articles published on areas, some of these things published in the TFB, Small Arms Review. Other organizations do publish this stuff, but not to the rate at which we're able to give it to you. Okay. So we're able to give you researched articles that are to the standard of with TFB and to this usual standard. This isn't like a Reddit subforum or something. Like not to poop all over Reddit, but you're going to see articles that are clearly focused on the regions that we're interested in, and a lot of them have actual indigenous input. So when we have an article about an Israeli oil, we have an Israeli small arms researcher who's actually writing it and translating it and actually going right to the primary sources in his own language, and he's getting that stuff out there. We have, I'll just go over, we've got a great Israeli guy, we've got two fantastic Egyptians, we've got a really good Iraqi guy, we've got Hiracha who translates stuff in Russian, and we've got a really cool Pakistani guy that is actually able to go into Dar Adam Khel where they're making all this stuff by hand.
Nice.
And he's actually able to go in there. You can check him out on YouTube. His name is Khyber Armoury.
Okay.
Very cool guy, very nice guy. But the thing is, all of us, all these guys, they're all gun guys. So they get it. They understand some of the idiosyncrasies and issues with researching this stuff and finding stuff out. So for instance, when that Khyber guy, when he goes into Dara, he's able to look at the heat treatment and he's able to say, okay, look at this finish, look at that finish. Instead of what I was seeing before, and this is the whole reason why we exist, is that you have, a journalist or an academic or something, even if you were to, airdrop them into Dara, they wouldn't even know what's in front of their face.
Right.
So that's just an example of that.
Awesome. Well, that sounds cool to me. If that doesn't sound cool to you, why are you here? Like, I get there are going to be people who probably don't care, but I think a lot of you guys will really find this very interesting material. So I have a link in the description text below to the website and also to Gentleman's YouTube channel. So definitely check those out. Thank you very much, Miles, for joining us and for doing all the work that you do.
Thank you, Ian. I really appreciate it. And let me say one more thing. If you could show us some love on Twitter and the Gram, that would be fantastic. Always looking for that.
Put those in there too.
Another thing is we're on the merch, and so we got some merch thing going on.
Cool.
So the difference with us is that every piece of merchandise we're going to have for sale that people can buy is going to be made in the countries that we study. So, for example, this patch which says Silah Report and then Silah Report in Arabic on top in calligraphy, this is in the shape of an Iraqi acceptance mark during Saddam.
I've seen those.
And that's why it's in a triangle, right? So it has a little bit of an aspect to it there. But this was made in northern Iraq, in Kurdistan.
Nice.
So you get this patch, you're getting something from there. We have another one that's white, and that was actually made in Kabul by a local patchmaker there. So every piece of merch that we're going to have is going to be indigenously produced in the countries that we study.
That's really cool.
So,
Awesome. There you go, guys. Even better.
all right.